So PRS released their 2025 SE lineup updates last week. I already reacted to something that caught my eye to begin with, but I was looking at it closer, and as I looked through the updates, I realized that this was not just a simple update for another lineup for another guitar company. This update possibly signals the future of definitely affordable guitars and maybe the future of the guitar industry itself. Hi everyone, welcome back to the Ministry of Guitar. I'm Utkarsh, coming to you from Singapore. As always, if you like what I'm doing, please do consider liking, subscribing and sharing. It just helps encourage me. Alright, so I have the lineup open in front of me over here. We're going to do this in three ways. I'm going to run through the updates. I'm going to talk about the significance, and we're going to finally get back to why this may signal the future. And the other thing I want to say is one of the updates is possibly, and I know this is a cliche, but bear with me, I think this might actually be the case. One of them is maybe the only guitar you ever will need. One of the updates is really that guitar. Let's get into it. What's happening here? Firstly, they have updated knobs and switch tips. Seems minor, but let me tell you, PRS lampshade knobs, like you see on my core custom 24 Piezo over here, and I'm holding a custom 24 Piezo for a reason. PRS knobs are possibly, I know knobs is a very personal preference, but just the way the pots work and how the knobs work together, you have the perfect amount of lack of friction or friction when you need it, volume rolls, everything, and just the feel of it. I think nothing beats a PRS lampshade knob. In fact, I replace all my SEs with, there's one sitting back there. I replace all the knobs on my SEs with these anyway. I buy them separately. So this is a welcome move. Also, the switch tips. PRS SEs are generally good quality, but one of my complaints has been that the switches feel rather plasticky. So to use something similar to the core is very, very welcome. So that's number one. Number two update. Custom 2408 Quilt. Now here's the thing, when you have PRSs, one of the things that make PRS are these amazing crazy colors that you just can't get. Like look at this guitar that I have over here. This has got this beautiful purple with these blue highlights. And one of those colors, they have purples, they have reds, they have blacks, they have grays. This is a private stock. This is called double stained gray, another stunning color. So what I'm trying to say is that one of the trademarks of PRS, especially PRS USA guitars, which cost upwards of $4,000-$5,000, are those interesting color schemes that you simply could not get on any cheaper guitars. And what they're introducing over here with the SE Custom 2408, this burnt charcoal, actually burnt maple leaf is another name for a similar color, this charcoal cherry burst. It's unimaginable to get this kind of a color, this kind of a finish, this kind of a top. Though, of course, this top, remember, is a veneer. So core PRSs, they have an actual piece of maple. You can see the width of the maple here. You can see it over here. On SEs, you have veneers. These are like sticker thin, but nonetheless, it's wood itself. So to have this quality of a look at this price point is unprecedented. And the very fact that they have signaled that they are going to put charcoal cherry burst means that if you open the PRS website, and maybe we can just open the PRS, perhaps private stock website, because I think they can show you kind of the full range of colors that you can get. Where is it? PRS, electrics, private stock. There we go. And then you can hopefully have a look. Oh, they've changed the website. Yeah, so we have some colors here, right? Charcoal cherry burst that you see on the SE. Now imagine if all of these colors was going to get available on SE, which I think they could, because the very fact that they're putting such a exclusive color that started in private stock, made its way to regular core, and now it's made its way to SE, means that maybe in the future you could have electric tiger glow. You could have frostbite glow. Frostbite is such an incredible color. Looking behind, sorry, the ones that I have are inside their cases, but I'll link some pictures over here and there. Imagine all of this. Imagine having all of these colors available on SE. Just incredible. So that's the one thing I'm very, very excited about. And then we have the third thing, and the reason I'm holding this guitar over here It is the PRS Custom 24 Piezo and semi-hollow. We'll get to semi-hollow, which is nice, but I think the piezo part of it is very, very interesting. Now, here's the thing. The reason I'm holding this guitar, this is the core PRS USA Custom 24 Piezo. This is not an ordinary guitar for my collection. This is my #1 gigging guitar. So I play in a band here in Singapore. It's called the Mugshots. We play, of course, in bars, pubs, but we also play a lot of private events, paid private events, etc. And what you require is you require a guitar that can cover a lot of ground. And honestly, it's a pain to carry many guitars. We are not a professional band, so I just carry one main guitar and one backup for the 3 guitarists in my band, right? So we carry 4 guitars in total for 3. I carry this, and this is what I use. Why I use a custom 24 piezo is through the combination of having 2 PRS humbuckers that can be split and combined in very interesting ways, combined with the piezo and the tremolo and the 24 frets, means that this guitar can cover anything. Now, it will not sound exactly like a Strat. It will not sound exactly like it can sound exactly like a Les Paul, honestly, but maybe the Strat thing is a bit more difficult to achieve. It can sound like an acoustic. You put it through a Helix or whatever, any processor. It does everything. So often when many people ask me, what is the one guitar to have? I actually don't recommend something like the 513 hanging behind me, which has 13 electric sounds. I recommend this because this has, let me put it this way, the 513 is a 13 ink pen or a 13 color crayon set, whereas this has 5 colors in that crayon. But on top of having the crayon, it also has watercolors, which is the acoustic. The 513 has no watercolors; it only has crayons. Do you get what I mean? It's a whole different sound to have the acoustic sounds available. So that's why I use the custom 24 piezo, because sometimes you need crayons, sometimes you need pens, sometimes you need watercolors. And I'm so glad that this is now available at the SE lineup. Now, there is a difference with the SE system. This is not the first SE to offer a piezo. The first SE to offer a piezo was the hollow body. This has got something similar to that, but I want to talk to you about what is significant. This has a piezo built into a tremolo. That is what makes everything. That is so difficult to do. And honestly, the only company that does it other than PRS is Music Man. And no other company does a piezo inside a tremolo at this price point. At a made in Indonesia, affordable, not affordable very, but at an import guitar price point. Nobody does it. So to have a piezo inside a tremolo available, also with semi-hollow construction, available at this price point means that a person playing this guitar, they don't need to. Previously, if you wanted to have a guitar that can do everything, functionally, I would say functionally, you need to get this. You need to get this made in USA, PRS Custom 24 Piezo, because nothing else will functionally match it. Not talking about tone words or looks or cosmetics. Functionally, nothing could match this. Now, this SE Custom 24 semi-hollow piezo will match it functionally. And I'm so glad they made it semi-hollow, because with the piezo, what I've noticed is, because I have other piezo PRSs, the semi-hollowness adds an authenticity to the piezo sound. So I'm very glad they went with semi-hollow. And as far as electric sounds are concerned, unless you're playing very hard staccato metal, even the normal sounds, the electric sounds are great. So it doesn't affect it in any way. So yeah, so this one is by far the most exciting and by far the best guitar. Pound for pound, dollar for dollar, for a gigging guitarist, this is it. If someone wanted to buy something, if they had the money to buy this, I would say, sure, of course, go for it, have it reach. But if you are on a budget, and for some people in certain countries, even the SE will be expensive, I would just say go with the SE Custom 24 semi-hollow piezo. You are done. You don't need anything else. Maybe keep a cheap Strat, like a Squire Strat or something, to get you that Strat sounds for those songs that need a very particular Strat sound, like Yellow Ledbetter or something by Pearl Jam. But for everything else, Custom 24 Piezo. So amazing. This is the best news. What else? What else do we have in the lineup? Okay, we have a version of the acoustic. I have my acoustic PRS SE hanging behind me. They have this with the Zircote body. Now, acoustics are very sensitive to tone woods. There is no debate there, right? And where you have, on one hand, you have mahogany that's very warm. On the other hand, you have maple, like I have on my guitar. This is for the body and sides, that is very bright. You have Brazilian rosewood, which is the best, or rosewood, which is good. Brazilian rosewood is the best because they have both warmth and brightness. And you have Zircote, and Zircote is kind of similar to rosewood. The difference with Zircote is, of course, the sound is subtly different, but the difference is it has these beautiful spider web patterns. Let me see if they have it over here. So there you go. It has these beautiful patterns on the back. It's rather more beautiful than rosewood. We're showing you here. In fact, I have Zircote in one of my guitars here. So this is a PRS private stock 8-string. It has, of course, a double-stained maple body that I told you, but it has a Zircote neck, and I'm not sure if you can really see it, but it has very, very beautiful swamp ash body, by the way. Very, very beautiful lines, a lot of character in the neck. So it's really a question of aestheticness, the nice factor, right? The nice to have factor that is sometimes missing on more affordable guitars. This fully has it. So yeah, so I'm glad to see that. And of course, it has a standard pickup electronics. And again, these PRS SEs are very functional. A story that I tell people is that particular guitar. That's my gigging bread and butter guitar. Because I have the custom 24 piezo, I don't end up using it for gigs because why would I carry another acoustic when that can make acoustic sounds? But it is available. And I have in fact even lent it to, so there was a big show happening here in Singapore of some Indian comedian and he had a band or somebody playing with him. So he needed a guy with a guitar for some effects. And they needed a guitar. And of course, I'm the guy with many, many guitars. So they reached out to me. So I just lent them that. So that guitar has probably, that PRS SE is probably played to more people than I have ever played. So that's a nice thing to know about these guitars, how functional they are. Okay, what next? Then you have the Lefties. Great to see that they are having Lefties for the Silver Sky and the Zach Myers. The Zach Myers is a very good guitar, small scale. Honestly, if you're looking for a nice Les Paul style guitar, you couldn't do much worse than a Zach Myers. It has this beautiful, it has a private stock look because it has the beautiful veneer also, but it has the matching headstock, which kind of looks very nice. Let me see if they have a photo over here of the matching headstock. I can't find it. Here we go, the photo of the matching headstock. And because it's got a thicker body, thick neck, semi-hollow, still so not so heavy, Zach Myers is a great option for people who want a Les Paul sound, and the semi-hollow just helps. New colors, we have ice blue, metallic gold. So a lot of, beyond the charcoal cherry that we talked about, a lot of standard colors coming in here. Good to see the variety. Nothing that stands out to me. Do I like the look of this? It's like almost like a satin metallic finish almost. So I'm liking the look of that. Okay. What is the significance of this? I think this is very significant because what you are seeing is features that you could consider to be differentiating features for expensive made in USA guitars. You're seeing these features now deliberately being brought to the made in Indonesia or the made in the Far East or the more affordable guitars. What this shows is the market is really maturing. And why I say the market is really maturing is previously you needed a functional justification to buy a more expensive guitar. And manufacturers were scared of putting more functionality or more features in their cheaper guitars because then why would somebody buy an expensive guitar? That was their fear. In fact, when you looked at when PRS first launched SE, they used to have SE displayed prominently. But today, if you look at on the headstock, but if today you look at a PRS SE like any of them displayed here, you see the PRS displayed here quite distinctively, just like you have PRS displayed on this private. Actually, this private stock doesn't have PRS; it has a eagle, but a normal made in USA PRS also has this. Whereas in the past, PRS had to make sure that the SE looks like an SE. Now, PRS are not afraid of making their SEs look like the real thing, like the real USA thing, which shows that the market is mature, the market is aware, even if it looks like a USA one, that is a SE and that is a real USA one. And the reason I think they're doing this is, one, the made in USA guitars have become luxury items because they are expensive. They were expensive to begin with. What has happened, I think all of us realize post the big thing that happened in 2020 is inflation has hit us in a pretty bad way. And relative to, of course, prices have gone up, salaries have gone up also. But just in nominal terms, all of these guitars, made in USA guitars, have become much, much, much more expensive. At the same time, the quality of the factories' overseas guitars has become much better. And because of inflation, the overseas guitars have also become much more expensive. So what has happened is, if previously there were USA guitars that could occupy a mass market price point, now all USA guitars have pretty much moved out of a mass market price point, and all these quote-unquote import guitars are occupying a mass market standpoint. So what happens now is, now the core of the market, and I haven't seen the numbers, I would love to see the numbers if someone can share it with me, but I can bet that the core of the market is now these import mass market guitars. At least for PRS, I'm pretty sure the majority of their dollar sales are coming from these import guitars. So this is where you need to win. You need to win in your core. No pun intended, right? Of course, you have the USA guitars that are expensive, that probably have better margins or whatever it might be, but they're not going to be in the volume game. You have to win where the majority of the market is. The equivalent in the car industry is maybe BMW. I love BMW, favorite companies, not anymore, but that's a different story. But maybe BMW has the 7 Series or whatever it might be, and the 8 Series. It's nice for them to have it, but they need to win with the 1 and 2 Series. Maybe that's where the volumes are. So PRS have these expensive made in USA guitars and private stock, but they need to win here. So which is why they're bringing all these amazing features, all the know-how. They're bringing it to this price point, and they have the confidence that it can be executed well at this price point because of the experience that they've seen with the factories. The factories in Indonesia are doing a great job. This is brilliant news because PRS has a whole set of bells and whistles that can be brought to the price point. Imagine different wood combinations. Imagine all the different colors that I showed you earlier in private stock. Imagine different neck shapes, more neck shapes as an option. Imagine more pickups as an option, because one criticism that I would have of this PRS SE Custom 24, it still has the same 8515S pickups, which are one of my least favorite pickups. So imagine all the features, all the functional reasons to buy a made in USA PRS are now available. Some people will still go and buy a made in USA PRS because it is a luxury product, right? It would be like how some people would still buy a Porsche, even though they can buy a Volkswagen, the same company at the end of the day. Right? But you would still go and buy a Porsche, even though functionally maybe there may not be that much of a difference. You call one car the Volkswagen Touareg, you call the other car the Porsche Cayenne, they are the same car underneath. But some people, actually this is not a good analogy, because the PRS SE and the PRS core is not the same thing. A better analogy would be, you would have a very cheap Volkswagen car and you'd have the most expensive Volkswagen brand, company car, which would be like a Bugatti, right? They still carry passengers from A to B, but some people will still buy the Bugatti because the Bugatti is a Bugatti. Similarly, a PRS USA and a PRS private stock is what it is. So you don't need functionality necessarily to differentiate it. It's about the feel-good factor, and there is an ultimate functionality of having a high-quality thing. There are two ways to do a job. Do the job bare basic, or do the job in the best way possible. And there'll be no doubt that these expensive guitars will always do the job in the best way possible, the way they make you feel, the quality that you can sense, everything about it. So I'm glad to see this. I think once PRS SE starts bringing all these features and opens the door to its core features to come at this price point, you will see other manufacturers following suit because they have to compete. And this is only good news for the consumer. So which is why I was so encouraged by looking at this PRS SE 2025 lineup. I think it's amazing news for everyone, or everybody looking to buy a guitar in the $1,000 to $1,500 price point. And I hope, and I'm pretty sure, there's a lot more to come. Anyways, this has been me. Let me know what you think about this update as well, and I'll see you next time.